Well, folks, here we go. This is going to be my first video presentation ever. You know, I'm always a little apprehensive about doing this type of stuff, but I want to set some ground rules about what I'm going to say. First of all, this is coming extemporaneously, and it's really coming from the bottom of my heart. So I got to sort of remember mentally to stay on point, to touch on the topics that I really want to discuss. First of all, to all my folks in St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, and the rest of the Caribbean, and Puerto Rico, because I got a lot of family and friends over there. I have first cousins living in San Juan. First cousin's family that's on Vieques, which we happen to hear nothing about, and it's sort of remote. So my heart's really bleeding for the things that they're going through. You know, I got classmates like Molly that's living in San Juan, and their family going through some tremendous challenges, and I know she's trying to put together things to try to help them, but I mean, my heart just grieves for this. And I'm gonna tell you something. I really believe that the Virgin Islands, my mother, daughters, grandchildren, cousins, aunts, uncle, throughout all islands are going through a mess. But I really do believe that they're in good hands of the leadership, and if it wasn't for the foresight and intestinal fortitude of a lot of things being put in place prior to the storm coming, and we had to wait on Donald Trump to take control of these matters, who knows what their condition would have been. So I am so proud and thankful to the leadership of the Virgin Islands, and although your situation is dire, it's going to take a long time to rebound. You know, folks, have some faith, hang in there, and really be thankful for what you have and the people that's putting things together to ensure that you are fed and food. And yes, we may have some pockets where things are not on point, but that's to be expected. So come on, stop griping and just be appreciative like I am for everything that's been done so far. Okay? And I'm gonna go back to Puerto Rico. Like I said, my heart grieves for what their situation is, and after 7 days, the response has been stupid. Okay? We can spend all these billions of dollars on weapons. You know, like a plane, a next fighter just came out, costing $250 billion. Okay? But we're taking the time right now to complain and whine about the debt of Puerto Rico, which is partially imposed on the people in Congress and Senate of the United States that want to protect the interests, the shipping interests of their stupid buddies to make billions of dollars and lock them out from having the things they need. The same type of things imposed on the Virgin Islands. But you know what happened? That's their playground. So they just want to come there and have play in every single solitary thing that we do in this nation. Okay, it's about money. It's a shame that we pay so much taxes and get such little bit in return. And these knuckleheads and jackasses, I'm sorry, I don't care if you don't like my language, but these jackasses in Congress and the Senate, they're talking crap about cutting taxes. All right? They're talking stupidness about the NFL players taking a knee. And there's a reason that we're taking a knee, and this is just another one of those examples of why it's happening. So, you know, I get sick of this crap. And all these racist, deplorable knuckleheads that think anybody's going to be bowing down to their will anymore, that's not going to happen. We're tired of begging, pleading for you to do what you're supposed to do. Now, let me get back to the topic. We brag and we show our military might and how we go in. We got the technology, okay, to deploy soldiers and armies all over the world to create destruction. But we can't do it to save lives. We got people, army brigades that can build bridges, put in communications, all of that kind of stuff overnight. And I'm involved in and understand technology, so I don't want to hear no foolishness about how degraded the power grid was in Puerto Rico before, and how much money they owe. They owed all that money because of the stupidness that you guys were doing when you was taking advantage of Puerto Rico to be the central depository for South America and the outreach, when it could collect money. The Caribbean Basin Initiative fooling people to spend all this money, and you didn't back it with nothing. It was all fiat. You're full of crap. So you could create tax havens for the rich and the mighty, okay? So I don't want to hear none of that crap. We pay enough taxes to bail out and take care of our own people. But no, you could go and bomb all over the world. You're picking fights with North Korea right now, okay? And you're being a bully all around the world. Be a bully for good. And stop telling me this nonsense about how great we are and the humanitarian, and we can't provide humanitarian efforts for our own people. You're full of crap. And those of you that don't like the fact that I'm coming out boldly and saying what I'm saying with conviction, man, we got to waken up. Guess what, folks? I don't care if you're black, you're white, you're green, you're brown. We're in this together, and our enemy, common enemy, is those suckers sitting up in Washington playing games, looking out for their own interests and selling us down the tubes. And when are you fools going to realize that? No, but we sit entertained by nonsense on television. Okay, in the movies we talk about events, but no dreams. Nothing about looking out for our kids for real. Okay? So, I'm telling you, right now, we need to use all of that we've been spending. And don't tell me about their debt. To hell with debt and the mountain of paperwork they have to follow procedures to get things done. Just go in and do what the heck it takes. You have 3.8 million people in America right now suffering. You know, this is not to forget Houston. It's not to forget the whole of Florida, where people are still staying in shelters and need food and water. Look, the whole Keys is devastating. These things that are happening to us right now should be a message. And it should wake every single American up. I don't care what your color. I don't care what your financial status is. Guess what? Any one of you could be touched. Okay? It got tornadoes ravaging, snowstorms. Okay? I've been in 5 disasters since I left the Virgin Islands in 1989, September 17th. Okay? 5 of them. And I'm going to say that in terms of the response that's happening, I only know Jeb Bush did a heck of a job in South Florida. Okay? When President Bush, you got to give credit where it's due, he went all out, got the military in there to do what needed to be done to straighten out and make sure that that transition was a lot smoother. Katrina, a disaster. So you folks in the Virgin Islands better be thankful for Governor Mapp and his administration in terms of how he's organizing and sequencing all of this stuff. All right? I also had to deal with a snowstorm here in Barnwell, South Carolina. We had 9 days in 20 degrees temperature. A lot of folks were running and going all over the place. I sat in my home because of what I learned after 9 months without power in the Virgin Islands. Okay? So, I'm saying that it ain't about me. It's about our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico who are indelibly locked into the Virgin Islands society. And you can best believe that there's a whole bunch of people sitting on St. Croix, St. Thomas, that have family members, I mean their immediate family, that's confronted with this issue. So I want Congress, I want the Senate to get off of their fucking asses and stop talking all of this stupid shit, okay, about doing away with health care. Man, this should be a wake-up call to all of you people in this country that we got a serious problem. A serious problem. And you know, those of you that like to talk crap about gun rights, right? I agree with it. Okay? But guess what? It wasn't designed for us to pull up arms against one another. It's designed for us to overthrow this government when they forget that they get in there and they're supposed to be the servers of our communities and us, not our lords and dictators. Okay? So I'm not going to ruffle too many more feathers in terms of my thoughts and my disgust for Donald Trump. That got nothing to do with it. Okay? It's about people's lives. All right? So I'm telling you, before tears start coming down my eyes, I start to look soft, let me cut out. Thank you. Hey, please like and share this. Okay? Because it's a message that everybody in this country, irregardless of color, okay, or economical stature, need to hear. We need to unify and get on these knuckleheads' butt and make them do what we need them to do. Not sit around and take the dictatorship and all the nonsense that they're out there spewing. Divisive rhetoric. And you know, I got a rainbow of folks in my family from all colors and all hues. And don't think that I'm going to dislike any of them. But I'm going to always stand up on the side of justice. I'm going to speak out. And those of you that are offended by my language, I'm sorry for you. Okay? Because you got to remember something. Nothing got done in this country without somebody putting themselves on the line. And really, a lot of this change, although we had these peaceful marches and all of that stuff, it started happening in the 60s. Okay? In the late 60s and 70s. When people stood up and say, hey, we're not taking this crap anymore. But see what happened? We get this fake narrative. And then we turn around and we come back and try to rewrite history. Okay? Stop that crap. You guys, and I'm talking about everyone, it's your responsibility to get knowledge. Because the fake crap that we get in school has only been a brainwash education to keep us oppressed. And I'm talking about all of us. If you notice that all of the income and the raises and everything else in the past 20 years have gone up to the top 1 percentile. You know, a steak can only get so thick and a pillow can only get so soft. But what about acquiring all the biggest and the best while you cut back people's retirement? Okay? While you cut on their medication and social security benefits and you keep taking away. How about all the corporate raiders that's chewed up people's retirement system? And who's fighting for you? And you know, it's funny that some of you in the middle class, like at one point I was, okay, and was sitting there caping and fighting the battles for these assholes. Man, you better stop and stop voting and supporting things against your own self-interest. Think about that. That's what we're doing right now. We're voting against our own self-interest and our loved ones. Let me tell you something. There's thousands of Virgin Islanders in Puerto Rico. There are thousands, hundreds of thousands of white individuals and white families that decided to make that home. So when you sit up here and you get on this racist twinge, you are impacting your own people. Okay? And so where is your compassion? And to hell with I'm sorry now, to hell with the Red Cross that's putting on a front, acting like they care about somebody when their chief executives are making over $1 million a year, okay, in benefits. Now that's totally ridiculous. Want that money on the top, use top heavy, and getting pennies go down to the individuals that's in need, okay? So you guys be conscious of who you are supposedly giving and supporting to. Okay, and making sure that stuff goes to where it needs to be, the victims of this stuff. Okay, how much you really think about this stuff, and don't sit up there and give just to well I gave. You think that washes your hand of the soil and the stench? You in the so-called Christian community building up these mega churches and all of that stuff. No wonder young people, they see your hypocrisy. They ain't interested in that nonsense. Okay. And then you living in this lavish lifestyle and not serving anybody. And guess what? A lot of you so-called fake Christians are defiling the world that you're supposed to be living by. You go back and read it. Don't sit up there and just think it's only for riches. And God is sitting there loving your bigotry and your lack of compassion. Okay? So it's time that everybody get up off of their butt. Okay, and make something happen. Let's go rescue Puerto Rico. Cut out all stops. I don't care if you got to send carriers with helicopters, bulldozers, and bridge equipment and all of that kind of stuff. You deploy it there. I don't care about us sitting up here talking about protecting America's interests around the world. That's American interests, our citizens, not for big businesses to go in and the industrial complex to make money. Okay? To hell with them. And then, by the way, let's touch on another subject. What happened to all of these corporations that you protecting to make mega dollars? Guess what happened? Corning, General Electric, Briggs and Stratton, Generac. Okay? The folks from Home Depot that makes all this money. Oh, those Koch brothers with Georgia Pacific. You could spend over $1 billion to sway elections for your way so you can get tax breaks. Then get some lumber and all of that kind of stuff and ship it to Puerto Rico. And don't be sitting up here talking about, oh, we need to raise money. You're spending money to buy power. Well, you take some of that money that you've been getting and these congressmen and everybody else has been saving up for you so they could get their pockets rich. Okay? And give it back to some of our people. That's what we want to see. You know, to stop taking the pennies and the nickels and dimes and the few dollars that average Americans have to try to feed themselves while you sit up here and look at the stock market rise and your money rise and not give anything back. Cutting the cost of products and service so you could maximize your profit and sending out jobs overseas. But yet we got people fooled thinking that Donald Trump is interested in bringing back jobs to America. Them jobs, a lot of them are gone. Stop railing on the brown from Mexico. Because guess what happened? I don't know about you, but I ain't taking my behind in no field. And I've seen these brothers pick watermelons and cabbage and peas and all of that kind of stuff. And most Americans, I don't care if they're black or white, they're sitting down there jobless and they ain't going to go do what those people do. So stop dishonoring them. Okay? I'm sick of that crap. They come here, they work hard, they contribute, they send their kids to school, they get a higher education than our lazy, point blank, our lazy ass own kids. They got the library cards available to them free. They got internet, but yet they got all these fancy phones and all of that crap and don't do a damn thing with it, but be ratchet and act like jackasses. Because of the example that the media is setting up for them. Setting them up to fail. They make money off of that. And the news media too. You sad. Alright? Because what you're doing is that you so commercialize the news and you make so much money. Alright? That all you do is you put these little blurps of people spewing their independence. Bring the news. Dig deeper. Let people know the truth. But you're not a fact-finding organization. You are creating a false narratives also to protect those suckers because you know that your customers are the corporate leaders that spend for your that advertisement dollar with you. So you don't give a damn about us. And people need to realize that. Well, before I keep going on, let me cut this off, guys. And don't forget, like and share.